What's going on, everybody? What's going on, everybody? Game Time Brian, Rise and Grind, otherwise known as the Mailman. Yes, indeed. It's a brisk morning, and why is the air on? Let's see if I can maneuver this. I should be able to. Look at that, like a glove, like a glove. I think. There we go. Anyway, rise and grind, everybody. Hold up a sec. Take two. Sorry, I had to switch vehicles. Now I'm getting chauffeured to work. Yes, I'm getting chauffeured to work because my driver's side rear is a little low. We got a stem issue. I forgot all about it. What are you doing here? Okay. Watch the language.
Sorry about that.
There are children watching.
It is cold today.
No, I don't know how many children there are. But anyway, rise and grind, everybody. We are heading to work Monday. Who loves Mondays? I don't. I don't love Mondays. Everybody's stuff is in that bag here. Everybody's stuff. I got a bunch of shirts in there today. Vinny, your stuff's going out. Loyal. Let's turn it down a little bit. Loyal Cowboy. I got the heat on. It's not that cold. Loyal Cowboy, Dustin Bosley, Bobby Babinski, Clemente Espinosa. I think those are it. Maybe there's more. I don't know. But everything's out. Everything I owe is out and will be shipped to you. So we got some clarity last night. I had the Jets. The Jets didn't do too hot. They did not. Aaron Rodgers, I fell asleep at halftime, just to be honest with everybody, but I woke up and watched the highlights this morning. Sorry, I'm not used to this. Holy crap. Yeah, the Jets were beaten by those horrible Pittsburgh Steelers. You know, we keep hearing how bad the Steelers were, that Dallas went in on the road and beat them. And in overtime, you know. Now they're good. Shout out to the Birds yesterday. I know a few people who won some money. That was kind of an easy one. I didn't have them winning 28-3. But man, the Giants' offensive line is decimated, and the Eagles did what they had to do. So, a good job. Obviously, the best team in the division now, by far, is the Washington Commanders. So, Commanders, we're all looking up at the Commanders, and I don't think it's going to change anytime soon. Lead Commander, I think you got the best overall team in the division. I don't think nobody's doing much out of this division, but hey, you never know, right? I think excitement and young, just a young enthusiasm, new ownership, new young quarterback. You got a cracked rib, it looks like, but geez, Marcus Mariota came in and the offense exploded. They were up 20 points and they had 2 passing yards with right before halftime. I repeat, they were up 20-0 and they had 2 passing yards. So that's a good team over there in Washington. Not a lot of, their defense is, again, Carolina's not good, but Washington right now, you have to say, is clearly the best team in the NFC East, and it's really not close. Wow, here we go. We're going into the sun. So, congratulations, lead commander. We move on to week number 8, I guess it would be. Week 8, Dallas Cowboys are sitting at 500, 3-3. They got a tough task now. I expected the Niners to win yesterday. Niners did not win. The 49ers dropped to 3-4, and they're a good team. But again, if you're just looking at record, they're not. So now this puts Dallas in a bit of a pickle, because I think 49ers are going to be desperate even more so. They're always up for Dallas. Everybody's up for Dallas. So I'm still going to stick up my prediction of a closer game. I'm not picking Dallas to win now. I think Dallas will drop to 3-4. That's exactly where I had them, but I'm not going to lie. I'm not as comfortable now, obviously. I don't know when my guys are coming back. D-Law, like we know, is out for at least 4 games. And will Micah play this week? Who knows? I know we're going to get Bland back. Diggs, I think, was a good time for the bye week for him. I hope we get Kalen Carson back. So we should be pretty much at full strength in the secondary. So that's good. Again, I think the running back situation's a mess. I think that, by bringing Zeke back, nothing against Zeke, but it was best that he was away. We could just expand the offense a little bit. Now you saw what happened. Coming off the best game of any running back on the Cowboys against the Steelers, Zeke complained, and Zeke got the majority of the carries last game. And you saw what happened. Nothing against Zeke. Love Zeke. This is why you can never go home again. You should have stayed away. You should have went and played for somebody else. Go get an opportunity at a Super Bowl ring. Me and Wade go back and forth on the broadcast, but I know where he's coming from. But at the same time, only one team hit. This is what I'll tell Daniel. Daniel's in the chat, and Matt Batten. These guys love their Cowboys. Daniel M. Need to get you to become a channel member, bro. Dustin Bosley. He's already a channel member. I'm sure it's going out today. You guys, we all love our Cowboys, right? I'm not ready to just mail in the season, for crying out loud. It's not happening. Again, we have to realize that only one team is going to be happy at the end of the year. Unless you're a young, up-and-coming team like the Commanders. I would say the Commanders are kind of like Dallas back in the 90s. I'm not saying they're as good as we were, but I'm just saying they make the playoffs, lose in a playoff round like we did initially when we went and lost to Detroit, that first playoff experience with Aikman and them. I think you'll say that that's an improvement, right? I think the Commanders are the only team I could think of that could go to the playoffs and lose and say, wow, okay, we're looking good. Everybody else, sorry, it's Super Bowl or bust. That's just how it is. And, the longer distance and time between Super Bowls, the harder it gets. On the fan base, these players don't really care. Honestly, these players don't care that it's been, I guess, 29 years now since Dallas won a Super Bowl. I mean, and again, this is not a troll, but some teams have only won 1. So the fact that we won 5, it's a distant memory. My son don't remember that. He wasn't born. So again, that's part of history. Everything is part of history, but we want to see more recent history, more positive stuff. So I don't see a Super Bowl for Dallas, but, this is the NFL. Let's see what happens. Anything can happen. Anything can happen. When you have as many Pro Bowlers as Dallas has, anything can happen. Can they get their act together? I would say no, people, because of the coaching situation. And we've already addressed that you don't win like with coaches on a 1-year deal, lame duck. It's just not a good vibe. My local baseball team here, the Philadelphia Phillies, just lost against the Mets. Everybody's upset, and yet what did they do? They put a year on the coach's contract. You're going in the next year. So basically, he has 2 years left on his deal. And the first thing Dave Dombrowski said for the GM of the Phillies was, well, he's never seen where a lame duck coach can be helpful. It doesn't work. You can't win and be a lame duck. That's just, so the fact that Jerry Jones thinks that he knows better than everybody else is just ridiculous, because he doesn't. But again, I just think the man is cheap. For a billionaire, and I'm going to go back to it again, my experience with people's generosity is the more you have, the less generous you are. I got to tell, some of these older ladies, and, their husbands die off, and they feel like they want to take care of the mailman every year for Christmas, and I can tell they don't have a lot to their name. So, I always say, man, I don't want your money, just spend a couple minutes with me and we'll have a conversation. But, the more you have, the less you want to give. That's just the way the world works. Sorry, but it's true. It's sad. I got some rich people on my route. And you're more lucky to get something from an elderly person, than, some of these young rich people. It's just the way it is. Jerry Jones, he ain't giving squat away. He's not even giving away lunches to his team. Now, I know he's not the only team who charges their players for their weekly lunch, but when me and Phil go to a tour of the Star in a couple weeks, he's going to hear the same thing. Like, we're going to walk through the players' cafeteria, and they're charged a couple $100, I believe, a month to eat while on the clock. I think that's ridiculous. I just think that's another money grab when it comes to Dallas renting out their draft room and their locker room for kids' parties and fantasy football drafts. I mean, literally like their war room. I think that's stupid, but hey, again, it doesn't surprise me with Jerry Jones, everybody. It just doesn't. But circling up the week, the Giants are in serious trouble. I feel bad for the offensive line. They lost Thomas, now another guy for the year. Sorry, Pizzle, your team is cooked. They're done. Daniel Jones is done. I think, like Wade Walker always says, I think that it's a good thing, though, because Giants are going to go out and get themselves a good quarterback. Whether they like it, Shedeur Sanders, I'm kind of thinking the Giants would have hoped that it was maybe 2 years from now. If I'm Dallas Cowboys, I'm looking at Arch Manning in 2 years. So you have Dak, on a, basically you can get out from under that contract after next year with a sizable hit if you wanted. But who says you don't draft Arch Manning and you have Dak, and then you move on from Dak after 2026? That would be a lot less intrusive on the cap. Again, that's what I would be working for. Arch Manning it comes from legacy. Very mobile guy, throws the deep ball well. If I'm a young team, I'm looking to get a quarterback like that. I'm trying to find a way to get that player on my team. Kind of like Aikman. Like if we can do that, I think that'll make everything a little bit more palatable. If we're going with a young quarterback and a young running back, I think that, I don't mind losing. But when you bring back veterans, now injuries have ravaged us, but let's not act like injuries were a part of the problem against New Orleans, who hasn't won a game since beating us, by the way. They blew us out and have lost 5 straight games. So you're welcome, New Orleans. You are welcome. But anyway, I'm here. It was a fast drive, so I appreciate everybody. I will see everybody on my lunchtime chat. I don't know what we're going to make the title of this, but the NFC East wins yesterday while Dallas was off, so just makes it that much harder. But the Commanders, we're all looking up at the Commandos, so congrats. Late.